Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome once again to your live Investment Dominator Q&A call. And my name is Warren Davis, and we're here on this Thursday. It is June 25th, 2020 at 12 noon, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. For those of you that are out on the East Coast there, we're here to get your questions answered and as it pertains to the Investment Dominator. And we just want to welcome those of you that are here with us for the very first time on this call. We want you to be able to, first of all, hopefully you can see my screen and my indicators show that you can hear my voice. So you should see the how-to up on your screen. For those of you that are brand new, we do want to encourage you to type in your questions and we will do our best to get them answered. You send in your questions by using your box, your control box there, and just simply typing in your questions in the questions area, hitting send. We do appreciate the fact that you've been so good about typing, and those of you that have been with us for a while have been typing in the word question or putting a question mark before the question so I can distinguish between questions and comments. It's been helping quite a bit. So we trust all of you are doing well today. When you do type in your questions, please don't worry about using the little hand signal there. I normally am not able to see that. There's a few of you on the call right now, and of course we expect more to join as we go through this hour on the call, where we'll be able to hopefully knock out all of your questions. And as I've forestated before, I will start with previous questions that we got from either on Monday night's call at 5 p.m. or even last Thursday. We have a couple of questions from there. Try to answer the backlog of questions first, and then if we have questions coming in today, hopefully I have enough time to get to those. Being that we have a full hour, hopefully we can get all of the backlog handled and even questions that you have today. So we're going to start with getting your questions answered, looking at our Investment Dominator screen. We're just going to jump right into it here. I trust that you are doing well, and just by way of public service announcements, if those of you that may be occasionally reaching out to me on Facebook, I just want you to know I'm not trying to be antisocial or not answer any questions, but I don't monitor Facebook. Even though my name is on there, we usually use Facebook for our business and for any correspondence regarding our business activity. That's where we will handle, people that want to buy land, and they'll ask us questions about, specific parcels. But we don't. I can't answer questions on there. Some of you have been posting questions regarding Investment Dominator, and I just want you to know I'm not on Facebook. I don't have the space to monitor that. Being that I run, the webinars a couple times a week, have my own coaching students, and then we do have our own business that we run. I have plenty to keep me busy elsewhere, so I just don't have the space to get on Facebook. So just want you to know that I'm not. If I don't get your questions answered that way, that's just not a way that I can answer Investment Dominator related questions. So from last week, we did have question that came in from Jonathan, and I wanted to make sure I get this covered. This is not so much, some of it is Investment Dominator. The majority of this is more what we consider a business-related question. So the question was, is there a way to use the county assessed value in determining your market value? And of course, within Investment Dominator, if we look at your offer request, usually when you're talking about the county assessed value, for those of you that are fairly new, you have an assessed value in your records that you get out of straight from the county, hopefully. See this county assessed value here, where the county will use, they will assess a certain value, put that on a parcel, and then the question that Jonathan is asking is if there's a way to use this county assessed value to come up with our market value here. And of course, you want the market value so that you can determine what your offer is going to be. So basically, what we're at here in the record is you've had prospect records come in, neutral letters have been sent out, individuals have responded back saying, I want an offer on my property. So that's where we get ending and pending preliminary research status is where the record will end up in. Pending preliminary research status, meaning this customer wants you to give them an offer. You swing into action and you go into the county records. You find out what the county has assessed this parcel for. Then you, based on your comps, hopefully the sold comps, you will find your market value here, right? So that's what Jonathan is asking, you know, is there a way to use the county assessed value to determine the market value? And basically, the answer to that question is the only way you could do that, Jonathan, is if you've had a series of comps. So you had a series of these records, you know, in that county where you have identified a relationship. As you can see here, the market value we came out with was about 9,500. The county assessed is 7,500. So that's $2,000 more. Well, this particular county, we're looking at Harnett County here, if I've done a series of these computations where I've gone and looked at the county assessed value for a series of these parcels, and I've calculated my market value. See, after you're doing like maybe 4 or 5 of these in a row, you'll begin to see a relationship between the county assessed and the market value. And most of the time, the county assessed is lower than your market value. And the only way you know that relationship exists is because you've gone into Zillow, you've taken this particular parcel, gone into Zillow many times, all right? And wherever this parcel is, you've looked at different parcels that, different sizes, and long story made short, you have determined a relationship. And you can always say, well, it looks like the county assessed is running, 80% lower than the actual market value, something like that. You'll begin to see a relationship between these two amounts. So once you begin to see that relationship, this is a good place to start. You can then determine your market value, or at least have a ballpark market value based on what you see the county assessed to be. So if I look at another parcel, maybe the county assessed value is 6,500. Now I don't want to automatically assume that the market value is going to be $2,000 difference. You always want to go in and check, Zillow, or check Trulia. In this case, it's saying there's nothing that we're finding here. But you want to check your comps basically to determine an actual market value, right? You don't want to just assume that you know the market value because you have a county assessed value. But at least you have an idea when you see the county assessed is lower and you see how much lower it is, it makes sense to you to give it a certain market value that's maybe $2,000 or $3,000 difference. Obviously, if you find comps that, let's say, the county assessed value is 7,500, but you're finding comps that are like 32,000, or you're finding comps that are 58,000, obviously there's you need to check to make sure you find some more realistic comps, because you could find yourself in a complete other part of town, and you'll then be really not giving yourself a realistic market value, right? If you found out that your relationship is that your county assessed is maybe $2,000 or $3,000 higher, I mean your market value comes out to be $2,000 or $3,000 higher than your county assessed, if you're seeing comps that are at 58,000, that's not realistic. Okay, so you need to check, your market value and check the comps that you're finding. Okay, this is just a, kind of a barometer that you can use once you've done several of those computations. So I'm hoping that gives you a little insight into how you're going to determine market value. And then Susan had a question here from last, I think the 18th. She had a question. So this is more Investment Dominator related. If you have 5,000 properties and you want to initially send out, send to out-of-state owners first. So what Susan is speaking about here is she's imported into Investment Dominator in prospect status. She says you might have about 5,000 properties that you want to import into Investment Dominator that's going to be in prospect status. They may not already be in Investment Dominator, but you want to import them in. And you want to send to out-of-state owners first, and then you'll need to can you ask your formatter or your VA to create 3 separate files. One would be for out-of-state owners. The second would be she wants the formatter or the VA to come up with a list of the records that are 2 hours away. I don't know exactly what she means 2 hours away, but then number 3, local owners that are local to that county, whatever county it is you're looking at. She says, then you could upload whatever file you want. So basically, she wants the VA to be able to put in prospect records or give her records that are going to be in prospect status. One list is going to be out-of-state owners, so people that are completely out of the state that the property is in. The second list, she wants it to be like just 2 hours away. Not sure how they could determine that. And then number 3, if they are local. So if you're talking about Lee County, let's say, for example, she wants to see all the owners that are in Lee County, all the owners that are 2 hours away, I guess, from Lee County. And then the first list would be out of state, out of the state of Florida altogether. So she's wondering if you can have the VA or the formatter to make these 3 different files. To my knowledge, that is not a realistic request at all, Susan. Your formatter, basically, what they're going to do, in fact, let me just bring one up and I'll show you exactly what they're going to end up doing. Your formatter simply is there to make sure that, okay, it went away here. Here is going to be there to make sure that the records are in Investment Dominator ready format. And when I say that, let's see. So let's look at an Excel file here. Basically, your formatter or your VA is going to make sure that these records that are going to be imported are in the right format, meaning they have the right column names, type, first name. Here we have first name, last name, company if it's a company, address. That they has all these column headings that you see here are present. That's what your formatter is going to do. They're going to take a 5,000 list data file that you might have gotten from the county, or that you might have gotten even through Agent Pro 247, Rebo Gateway, and make sure that the right headings are in these a certain order based on, under our help, when you type search our user guide and you type in import, your VA is simply going to make sure how to import your land list for investing, that your records are in this format here, right? That they have these 11 required fields, or any other fields have the right headings if they're not required. So obviously here, the fields that are in color are required. The fields that are in white are not required. So that's what your VA is going to do. Your VA doesn't do the analysis to determine if the various that your various requirements of having out of state owners 2 hours away. Now, I think when you talk about Agent Pro 247 or you talk about Rebo Gateway, you can select records where owners are out of state, but in terms of there being 2 hours away or local, I think they might be able to do, make sure they're in that same county. That's possible, but your VA doesn't normally do that level of analysis of your data. They're just going to put them in the right format, and that's going to be pretty much it. So I wouldn't expect that if I were you. I think that's it's not normally what they do and what they're paid for. So let's look at another question. I see we have some questions coming in here today, which I will do my best to get at. A sec, okay. Okay. So we have some questions here about customization, and we'll see if we can get to those later, a little bit later here on our call. Leo had asked a question on this past Monday. Can you explain where and how Investment Dominator stores imported entries? Okay, how does Investment Dominator store your imported entries? Okay, it seems like he says when he tried to move his second import, so he imported records into Investment Dominator, came into the land deals records, and came over here to import. Obviously, chose the file, uploaded the list. So, and when he uploaded that list, Investment Dominator puts it into prospect status, right? So Leo is saying that when he went in to move bulk update, I'm assuming is what he's using. When he went to move these records in prospect status from prospect to mailed letter 1 status, he said he was moving, 556 records according to this number. Now this number here is there's 3,519 in mine, but his was ending up being 556 records, and his issue is that he'd only imported a total of 520 into Investment Dominator. So if he only imported 520, he's wondering when he comes up here to campaigns and to do a bulk update, how come this number is saying 556? So the only thing I can tell you, Leo, is that when you came over here and you imported records into your Investment Dominator, the logical answer to this is that you must have had already 36 prospect records, 36 records that were in prospect status. Now, this could be because you imported records previously, they're in prospect status, you had a total of 36 of them, that maybe they weren't moved like you intended for them to be moved to the next status. So instead of the record being moved to mail letter 1 status, you had 36 of them that were still in prospect status. That's the only logical reason why when you imported 520, additional prospect records, you come up with a total of 556. So because every time you import into Investment Dominator, I can honestly tell you, when I go into import, you see Investment Dominator is going to move all the records into this status that's selected here. And normally it's always prospect. So that's the way Investment Dominator actually stores your records as they're imported, is based on this status here, set at prospect. Okay? Hoping that will give you some insight and answer your question. You must have had something already still remaining in prospect status for that to have take place. Okay. All right, and I'm noticing okay. So Lori is saying, and I've heard this before, I'm going to have to take this up with our technical group here. I'm getting this communication. Lori is saying, why don't we get the notification and links for the Thursday class, a Thursday class or webinar? Okay, I'm going to make a note here. I don't have an answer to that, Lori. I'm sorry that that's happening. I'm going to make a note to contact our technical group. Okay. And she's saying she's registered for it twice now and have always have to into ID to join the class. Yet I get 2 notifications with links to the Monday class like clockwork. 2 notifications. I don't attend Monday because, okay. Okay. All right. Jasmine saying she's noticed that too. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to find out exactly why that is. I will I probably obviously don't have an answer for you on this particular call, but I will get that answered for the next call. I'm going to put myself a big red star here so that I make sure I do not forget. Because I have heard this before and I thought it was resolved actually. So I'm sorry about that, for that inconvenience there. We'll find out what's going on and get that handled, okay? And we do have a list of all the email addresses, so perhaps we can just do a mass sending of all of the links to everyone that's on this email notification. Okay. All right. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. And let's go on with a question that we had from Thomas on this past Monday. Thomas is asking, is there an easy way? An easy way. I don't know if it's going to be an easy way, Tom, but there is a way to extract or to record. He wants to record the exact date that he mails out an offer. The exact date, mail an offer. Okay, and I was just teasing. Actually, there is a pretty easy way to handle that. What Tom is speaking about in your land deals records here, when you come up here under offer request. So Your records are in pending preliminary research status, right? Once you determine your offer amount, like this record here is pending preliminary research status, has an offer amount. So once Tom sends this record out, or he wants to mail this offer out to the customer, he wants to somehow notate or put something on this record to let him know that this is the date that he mails out this record. The easiest way and the most efficient way that I know to do that, Tom, is actually to set up an actual tag. So under customize menu, you come in here and you hit tags. Okay, come over here and you just say add tag, and we'll name this tag offer mail, and let's just say 06 25 20. So we'll create this tag and we'll say add. Tag gets created successfully. If I were you, I would get into the habit of just creating that tag. Come up here under your land deals records. Go under your offer request. This is your stage offer request. Any ones, as you can see, that has an offer amount, you could mail out today, you could produce. But so let's just, and all at one time, if you have quite a few offer requests, you can come over here, you can select any of the ones with offers. If you're going to mail them out today, you just select those records. And you see I selected 3 records here. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say tag. So I'm going to tag those records with the tag I just created. You should scroll down to the bottom. Offer mailed 6/25/20. All right. You confirm that. So 3 records have been tagged successfully. You hit OK. So now, even though you've got all these records in the process, right? You've got all these records. I have 360 pages of records. If I want to find those 3 records, I can come up here and I can search by my tag that I just created and come here to the bottom, offer mailed 6/25. So even 30 days from now, I can come back here and I can find any of the offers that I mailed out on 6/25, and I'm going to search, and it gives me my 3 records. I have my offer amounts, because what that tagging feature did, if you edit the record, it just simply went in here and it placed this tag offer mail 6/25 on this record, and then Investment Dominator allowed me to search by that tag. Now that's probably the quickest way and the easiest way, Tom, I can think of to record the exact date that you mailed out an offer, is to use the tag. Other than that, the only way to know is the actual date that, well, I thought there was a date, you have to actually update the record. I thought this date would change here, but as you can see, it didn't even change that date. So in order for that to change, I think we have to come in here and we have to put in some verbiage. And update the record, okay, for this to actually change. And you don't want to do that, even though the system did put on this tag. I thought it would update this date here to June, but it did not do that. So again, we're back to the only way to actually make that happen is to put a tag on that record that would specify the date that you actually mailed out that offer. Okay. Hopefully that's clear. Okay, and within that, she was asking, how do you change the date of the tag to record the exact date? Well, you don't change the date of the tag. Sheila, like, well, let me see. Before I say that, let me see. I don't think you can actually change the date of the tag. Well, maybe you can. Maybe you can because it does allow you to edit. So let's see. Go to the very end. Offer mail 625. Let's see if I can edit. Okay. I actually could. I actually could come in here and change the date of this tag. But keep in mind, any records now that you've tagged with this date, you know, that is going to go away. That tag is going to go away. So what I would do each time I get ready to send out my offers, I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to add my tag, and I'm just going to say offer mailed and that date, right? And the particular date. Let's say if it's 06/29/20. I'm gonna always add a tag for the date that I name that that I actually send out those offers. But I am glad to know. I mean, you can come in here, you can edit this tag and change it here and save it. The problem with that is this tag now is going to go away completely. Okay. All right. And so Sheila asked how to change the date of the tag to record the exact date. The only reason why people want this on here, a lot of times, the reason why people want, the date that offer was mailed, so that they can search for this tag and any, let's say next month in July, the month of July, right around the 20th or 25th of the month, if they want to send out second offers, they want to be able to find, all of the records that were mailed out this month or this particular, around, a month ago. They want to be able to find all of those records, just like we did, and then they want to be able to send out a second offer. That's one of the main uses for this, setting this up. And so Anita is asking about a dynamic date. So could you tag? I have a date that is changing, like on neutral letter dates. That would be definitely a new feature that we could look at adding. We'd have to understand the rationale for having like a dynamic date that will change based on excuse me, when the actual offer was mailed out. So we come into our land deals records here, and rather than you tagging them, it's almost like what you're suggesting is for each of these that you send out, whenever you send out an offer, you have some other field that gets generated saying, okay, this is the date this offer was mailed. There might be some reason for that because more and more people want to keep track and want to be able to search by when offers went out, so they know when they want to send out their second offers, or they know when they want to even do follow-up phone calls. That's probably what it's going to be. Anita saying that would be a great new feature. That's probably what it's going to end up being. It's going to be a new feature. And let me make sure I get that Could your tag have a date that is changing? Okay, that actually would be a dynamic date. Could be a good feature that we would put in, and what I'm going to do is call your attention to under the help, and I think you probably already know, Anita, you can suggest a feature here. Go ahead and suggest that feature. Make sure that once you select or you say what the feature is, basically you want to see a dynamic date for when offers are mailed out of Investment Dominator. Please put the rationale for, that would support why you would think this would be a great new feature. Give some examples, like within your business. If you had this feature in the Investment Dominator, how it would help your business. That's why we have this, how important it is to you, to determine the rationale for bringing in this kind of update. All right, that would be excellent, and I'm sure it'd be greatly appreciated. So hopefully, Thomas, that answers your question there on the tags. A lot of folks have questions about how you use tags, and this is one of the main reasons for tags coming up. I know I use it myself just so I can keep track of, when I do want to send out my second offers, and it works quite well. Okay, Abby asked a very good question here on Monday. 37, Abby's question. How can I add our name and address as a header on the offer cover letter? Add our name, address as a header. Now, just want you to know, Abby, on offer cover letter, and the letter template, offer template. Okay, just so you know, it's not going to actually be a header when we're talking about it being done in Investment Dominator. Abby, it won't actually be a header that you would see in a Word file. Word has the capability to have a header so that it always prints, on every document that's, that's produced. It'll have a header that automatically gets printed on that. So when you're talking about it being in Investment Dominator, it won't be a header like that. What we can do is you can change the template. The way to do that from the Investment Dominator standpoint is to change the template to create a custom template, custom offer letter, and a custom offer cover letter, and a custom offer letter template. So that your name and address always print somewhere on the document. All right, but it won't always be in the header section of a Word document, is my point. So under help, I'm going to search our user guide, and we're going to type in Jack. And so here's an article, how to customize Jack's offer templates. And some of you may be already aware of this. I don't want to belabor it, but this is how you create a custom offer cover letter template. And it also has the second section, how to create a custom offer template. Now, this is what would have to be changed to put your name up top where you'd want it to be. So what we would do, come up under customize, custom documents, and then we want to say we want to add a document. And we'll say land only, and we want to create both a PDF and a Word document. So we say both. And let's just say custom offer cover. Offer cover, say 01. All right. Status obviously is going to be, pending preliminary research. Going to leave it at portrait. And what we're going to do here, this is where you get into the article under this document content. See all of these, this is an HTML WYSIWYG, these are commands and functions that you can use to create your body of your document. What we're going to do here is we're going to hit source so that it disables all of those. And this is how you create basically a custom document. Then you take this content, which is an actual link, and it's going to give you all of this HTML code here. Obviously, we don't expect you to modify the HTML, so I'm going to select all of this by doing Control and A. All right, and with this information copied, now I'm going to bring that into my actual document. So I'm putting my cursor up here in the corner, and I'm doing Control V as in Victor. Let me see if I got that all. Okay. So I copied it, doing a Control C and a Control V as in Victor to bring all of that in to my document content. Now you hit source again, and it now brings in all of this HTML code, right? And but it puts it in a readable format now. So now I can modify this file, modify this cover letter. So the question is, they wanted to be able to add their name and address as a header. Well, it's not going to actually be a header since we don't have access to the header for this particular document, but you can place it up here up top, associated adjacent to this current date, on the same line, so that it always prints at the top. And what you would do is you would use these insert merge fields here, and let's just say you want to use my first name. Let me see. So your first name, all right, space there, and just say you want to insert your last name, okay? And then on the next line, this is where you're going to place your cursor. On the next line here, you're going to place, you can say my company address, your company address, which equates to, it says, my company address. And so basically, let me see if I can. Okay. Let's see, is it Shift Enter? Yeah, for the next. So okay. Actually, I want to insert it right here. So company address. Take it out here, and we'll put it right here. Okay, it's going to give me Gonna give me a little problem here. I'm going to okay. It's not going to do exactly what I want it to do right now. So what I'm going to do, I'll cancel this out. We'll go back here, add the document again, land only, both. Okay. Or cover 01, status, pending preliminary research, going to be portrait, okay. Source again, and this context here, we're going to do a Control A to select all of it, do Control C. All right. Control V as in Victor to bring all of that in. All right, then we hit source again. Okay. So here, current, why don't we do it this way? We'll insert this field, my first name or your first name, you're selecting. And then your last name. All right. And then shift entered, and we'll say your company address here. So we can get it all on one line. Okay, so we've got our information here. If you want it to print like this, it'll be associated, you know, and it's kind of on the same line as this current date. And let's see here. Okay. All right, so we make it labels, say yes, this is yes and yes. And the next status we'd move it to after this would be offer sent. Okay, so we're going to add this document. So this would be the best, quickest way is to actually create a custom document. You can see it says this custom cover letter 01. You can do a document preview right here just to see what it would look like. And you can see it creates now whatever your name is, and it puts your company address here on the top of the document. It's not really like a header per se. This is a PDF anyway. It's going to come out as PDF. But even on the Word document, this is the best way that you're actually going to be able to put in your name up top and your company address. Now, I do want you to know that I think your company address automatically is printing down here towards the bottom as well. That's already in the template for the offer cover letter, right? But if you do want to see it above, you know, up here in your first and last name and your company address, that's the best way to do it, is to actually create a custom document for that. And obviously, when you get ready to do, you know, this does your cover letter, you come down here, go through the same list of steps, and you'll copy this content for your custom offer template. And you'll basically do the exact same thing that I just did, was create a custom offer letter, all right, where you edit it and you type in these fields here, put them up top, and it will print out for you, all right? Okay, it took me a little longer than I anticipated to get that done, but that's basically how you're going to do it, Abby. Hope that gives you some insight. And let's see if I can get a B's question in here. Haven't had a chance to read it yet, B, but I'll see if I can answer it here. So you said your VA, you have created a profile for is unable to upload a list to Investment Dominator. What profile settings? Oh, do you have to modify? Okay, it's unable to upload a list to Investment Dominator. Okay. So, B, let's see. So you have his VA created a profile and is unable to upload a list into ID. So what AB is referring to here is obviously, hopefully you've made her a team member or him a team member. You definitely don't want to give them admin privileges, but once you add the user and you make them a rep, first name, last name, username, let's see, no to that, deleting properly, no, merging property, no, editing property, you want to say yes to that. That's their permissions. These are the permissions that you're setting for them. Delete a contact, I would say no. Editing a contact, you can say yes to that. Generating letter, generating an offer, generating label, deleting attachment, no. Now, allowing them to edit the menu, edit custom pages. Say no on that, that's fine. View financial reports, definitely I say no. View notes. These are owner financing. I'd say no, no, and no. This should, when you're allowing them, let's see, delete property, merge property, editing property, and contacts. This should, allowing them to edit property. Let me check something here real quick. I'm going to check it on another account here just so that I know for myself. I believe no, I believe they may have to be you may have to give them more juice for an admin privilege. You may have to almost make them an admin, but then you have to. I thought even if they were a rep, one, let's see. Password. Okay. We'll see here. Allowing them to edit contact, deleting contacts. Everything's no, add owner financing. Nope, nope. Okay. We'll log out here just to see. So this person has a rep status They go in here to the land deals record. Nope. It does not allow reps to upload lists, because you can see here the campaigns area is not, the campaigns area is not showing. So what it appears, Abi, is that you're going to have to give them admin privileges to be able to upload lists. Okay, you see I'm an admin. So when I come in here, the campaigns is available for, and also the import is available, which is really what they need, so they can actually choose and upload the list. Okay, so yeah, you should be able to control, even though they're an admin, when you come over here under help, but I'm pretty sure they have to be, come over here under team and you add the user. It defaults to admin. I believe you can still turn off certain of these functions, even though they're an admin. Okay, but that's what you're going to have to give them, is admin capability, so that they can actually have the functions to import or to go into campaigns. I thought you could control it without having to have that, but that's going to be your resolution. Okay, glad we could help you there. Yeah, let me know if you have any issues turning off the delete capability. That's what's going to have to happen. Okay, interesting. You folks are really getting after it. That's good. Okay, well, we do have a couple more questions that came in but we answered the ones from our backlog from Monday anyway. Let me get this last one here. We have a couple of minutes that Abby had asked on Monday. Should we still mail out letters or mail out an offer to a seller? Should we still mail an offer to a seller who have made it clear they only want top dollar for their property? Okay. Who've made it clear they want top dollar. Okay, well, I'm going to answer that question this way, Abby. You've got 30 seconds. I would still mail an offer request, even though they've stated they want it top dollar. Now, the caveat here is, if you've actually talked to them on the phone, see, some of you are taking your own neutral letter calls and you're talking to sellers yourself. If you have talked to the seller, and let's say Margareta has made it clear, you've heard her in your ear on the phone say, I only want X amount of dollars for my land. Don't send me an offer for anything less. If you have taken your neutral call or you've talked to the seller, they've said that to you, you are bound by what they say. In that scenario, I would not send them an offer. I repeat, if I've already talked to them, I would not send them an offer. But if their entry was made in here by, let's say, Pat Live, Pat Live is the call center that's taking my calls, and they've come in here, they've edited the record, and they've put the call notes in here, that says, seller wants only top dollar for their property. Okay, I didn't talk to them on the phone, so I'm going to, even though they say this is what they want, I'm going to go into action and I'm going to calculate the market value. I'm going to send them an offer anyway on their property. I can't tell you how many times people have said in these caller notes, we only want X amount of dollar for our property. We won't take anything less. we still just go in, send them an offer, and lo and behold, they accept our offer. Okay, so if I haven't spoken to them on the phone, I will still send them an offer. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay. Go for it and do your work. Send them an offer. You'll be surprised how many you get back that say yes. So we're at the point here where I've got to end this call, and I just want to share this thought with you regarding fear. Everything that you want is on the other side of fear. That came from a statement, came from a gentleman named Jack Canfield. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. We have to actually go through fear and deal with our fears, especially in this business, so that we can be successful. And there's an anonymous quote that comes from a person that I've had many problems in my life, most of which never occurred. So that quote came from an anonymous person, and that's because we worry about a lot of things that are going to happen that never end up happening. All right. So I want you to have a great weekend, a great remainder of your day, and stay safe out there, and take serious what's going on in our society today, because it is real. And we'll look forward to seeing you here on Monday to get your questions answered once again. Okay. I'm going to look into that issue for the Thursday link not coming to you all for the class. Thanks, everybody. Have a great remainder of the day and a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.